Hey everyone, I'm Manny with AutoPot Watering Systems, and welcome to another Instagram Live. Today we were going to be talking to Peter Stanley, who is also known as Pepperdactyl on YouTube, and he is a pepper enthusiast and grower. And this is a cool IG Live for me because so am I. I have my pepper shirt on today. It's my pepper cyclops. Anyways, since he's gonna be showing us his, I'm gonna show you mine as well. I have my tray to grow systems with a bunch of peppers here out on my deck, and they're kicking ass. So I'm just as excited for this as you guys are. So give me a second. Let me grab Peter, and I'll be right back. Good. Do you hear me all right there, Peter?
Yeah. You fine? Do you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Look good. Hear you well. How you doing today?
Good.
Awesome, man.
Good. Thanks. How are
Thanks
you?
again. Very well. It's a beautiful day in New York, so I'm happy.
Cool.
It actually even felt like fall for a second earlier
Yeah.
today. So yeah, it's nice. I'll take it.
Cool.
Thanks again for doing this with us. We appreciate it.
Sure. Thanks
And
for having me.
yeah, no, of course. I mean, as I told you before, I love pepper growing. I love hot pepper growing, all kinds of peppers, and I have for years. So I always enjoy talking about it, and checking it out. And I think so. I live in Queens, New York, and I've often said that I might have one of the spiciest backyards in Queens. This is my old house. I just moved,
Yeah.
but I would have at least like 16 to 20 super hot plants growing, and I'd start them early inside in my grow tent. So they get pretty big.
Yeah.
So if not the spiciest, one of the spiciest. I've claimed that for a while. But so again, I'm always happy to talk peppers. Um, why don't you tell us kind of how you got into growing peppers yourself? Like what brought you into it, and kind of how you
Um.
journeyed down this path.
Yeah. It started with when I moved to where I live now, and like where I moved from was like a townhouse. It's tiny yard. I didn't really have any room to grow anything. And uh, when I moved here, there's some places and like flower beds the previous owners had used for growing stuff, and I bought some plants from Lowe's, like a habanero, cayenne, top pepper, a few of the common peppers,
Hmm.
and they didn't do that well, but I got a few pods and really liked it. And then I started just researching online and finding out more about super hots, and I found a place that sold boxes of super hots. So I got some, I think they were like brain strain, and tried one of those. Really, I don't know, really, I loved it. It was,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
but
you can handle the heat.
I mean, not as I can handle heat. I mean, it's relative. Like I'm not Johnny Scoble, but I can handle, you know, fairly well, I guess, compared to people who
Yeah,
aren't chili heads. But I haven't really. It depends on like how I built up my. Um, I kind of had to build my tolerance up each season to eat hotter. But I did
for sure.
try. I'm only going to run super hot this year, and I tried a piece of it a few days ago and did okay with it. It was pretty hot. It was the chili chump jigsaw brain
Oh
that
yeah,
I'm growing, and that was pretty good. But yeah, but anyway, so I saved seeds and started from seed the next year, and I didn't really have much luck with those, but I was researching and went on like the hot pepper website, and then I found the pepper lovers group. This is back in the Google Plus days, and started finding all this whole community of pepper growers and started learning from them. And over the years, my plants started doing better, and just from learning and trial and error, and making mistakes and learning from my mistakes,
hmm
and so I've never really been good at growing anything prior to getting into peppers. So it's been a journey. To, and
no doubt,
I don't consider myself an expert or master grower or anything like that. I'm learning like everyone else, and
for sure.
and
Well, people appreciate that process, man. Because we're all kind of in the same boat. So
yeah,
it's good when we can make mistakes together and learn together and get better. Um,
yeah,
one thing odd to that, as you say that, is I grow a lot of spicy peppers. A lot of people around me, like friends and family, they're always like, "Man, you can." So you must be able to eat anything and take the heat. And it's like, no, it's spicy to me just like it is to you. I just enjoy the burn. You know,
Yeah.
like I'll be able to take it a little bit and enjoy it, but it's
Hmm.
still hot as hell.
Yeah.
You know, um, but that's really cool, man. That's really cool. Um, what are like? Do you have certain pepper strains or varieties that? All right, there's a bee attacking me. Sorry. Some certain pepper strains or varieties that you enjoy the most growing. Is there like any favorite pepper you have that you might grow every year, or you kind of just jump around?
I kind of jump around and try different new strains, but I usually always have some habanero, Scotch bonnet type peppers. I think they're the most versatile for using in cooking powders and whatnot. And like when I started growing, I made the mistake of doing like 99% super hots, and then I'm like, what am I going to do with this? It's just too much. But now I can like mix a few super hots with some habanero level heat and maybe some mild peppers and
Right,
kind of get flavor blends,
right,
and get the heat level kind of where I want,
no doubt.
and
Yeah, I could relate
so
to that a lot because I love the super hots. They're fun to grow and they look super funky, you know.
yeah,
But if you got a whole garden of super hots, man, like it's hard to kind of balance the heat with all your cooking and the different ways you can use the peppers.
yeah,
So, me too. I've started to integrate some other peppers, and I also say, I think like habanero is probably my favorite too. Habanero Scotch
yeah,
bonnet. The heat level is just right,
hmm
and then you have this great like fruity flavor, you know,
yeah.
that's just delicious. Um, so that's awesome. That's awesome. How did you start with the AutoPot system? And tell me a little bit with like how that's compared to other growing methods that you've used in the past.
Yeah, I've tried a lot of different growing methods, just experimenting, and I started seeing. I have two grower friends that use a lot of Autopot, Matt Garver and Aaron Hernandez. They might be on here, I'm not sure, but
Hmm.
I was seeing, a couple of years prior to me buying any, I was just seeing they liked it and had good results, and I was interested in it, and so I started with, I think it was the reservoir with the 3.9 gallon pot,
Hmm.
and then I got another one with the reservoir and two of the 5 gallon fabric pots, and
Okay.
each one in its own tray. And that was the first year. And then I got the like a couple of the 4x2 trays and that easy to go valve. And I just rearranged. I just connected the three original ones to the one reservoir,
Hmm.
and the easy valve to the other one. And so that was that's one thing I like. You can rearrange and configure it however whatever your needs are. But I like it's like it just works really well. But it's also kind of a set and forget kind of thing. It's like you don't have to worry about it. I mean, you still have to check it if something
Sure.
happens, um, but they're more hands off. And like the older I get, the lazier I get, and like it's just I don't like having to do a lot of work every day. Like my sub irrigated planter buckets, they work really well too. But like every 2 days, I'm having to top them up. With the
Yeah.
autopots, every like few weeks, I drag the water hose out and fill up the reservoirs.
No,
So
no, that's great.
it's
That's great.
yeah,
Yeah, I saw your planter buckets too. That sub irrigated system you have there,
yeah,
and that looks really
yeah,
cool. And the plants look like they're doing
yeah.
wonderfully well. What kind of substrate are you using currently in your autopots? What have you used?
It's a mix of it's like Sungrow or Forward 3B. It's like a general nursery mix with I'll dump like a 2.8 gallon bag in a cubic foot bag in a wheelbarrow, and then like a colander full of perlite, and then like about a third of a bag of black cow, and just kind of mix all that
Oh,
up.
no doubt.
And then and that's my base. And then I'll use I have done hydroponic nutrients. Right now I'm doing slow release, so I'll mix um, the Osmocode 14-14-14, like 5 or 6 tablespoons per gallon of potting mix. And then I've got this stuff called essential minor elements. It's like micronutrient. So I do like the same, but like teaspoons, like 5 to 6 teaspoons of that, and
Okay.
about half a cup or so of bone meal, and just kind of do that in the lower part of it. And that's all. And I might have to re-amend a little bit towards the end of the season. They'll start running out, but that's been working really well.
So no supplementation through the tank whatsoever. It's all water.
No, all
Okay.
water. Yeah,
Awesome.
I did use hydronutrients the first year, and I had a little bit of some clogging issues, like some of the connections joints were like it was easy to backtrack and find where it was, but like a gel kind of thing was backing up, and it was easy to fix. But I think y'all have a product now that prevents that kind of stuff
Yeah,
from
yeah.
happening
It
too.
sounds like you're having a biofilm, and we do.
Yeah,
It's called Easy to Flow, and
yeah,
it's very good at addressing that issue. If you ever
yeah.
decide to go back down that path in the future, you know that we'd be happy to throw you a bottle.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Yeah, man. No worries. No worries. Um, well, um, uh, another question I have for you is, do you have any tips as far as growing peppers are concerned for people who are watching? You know, like as you said before, you know, we go through this journey, we make some mistakes, we get better. Is there any tips that you have, and also any tips that would be specific to the AutoPot system um, itself?
Um, are there any tips? I mean, nothing's coming to mind, but um, I don't like a lot of the. I don't like top my peppers. I don't do like I really don't do a lot of things that a lot of people do, but
Right.
um, I think just making sure they have adequate light and nutrients and like one thing that's really key is having a really well draining substrate.
Yes.
So like um, that's pretty key. That's probably one of the most important
Hmm.
things. When I was doing the hydro nutrients, I used just like cocoa and perlite. I didn't use the base mix that I use here. That's another thing. That works really well with hydro nutrients.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah. I
they,
would agree with that myself. Yeah, yeah. Um, as you grow all these peppers, and you like, you know, you're gonna end up. Some of those plants are gonna have just so many pods come off of them. What do you do with all these peppers? Like, I'm curious because I have my own way of going about, you know, what I do with all my peppers. So I'm curious, like, how do you deal with all these peppers at harvest time?
yeah, that's probably why I've scaled back because I'm doing growing way fewer plants than I used to. But I 'cause I always ended up like pounds of pods that I couldn't realize. It was just a lot of stress trying to figure out what to do with them before they go
Hmm.
bad. And but I do always dry a bunch and make powders.
Yeah, me
I,
too.
I'll make jellies, sauces.
Hmm.
I always
Hmm.
give away a bunch to my friends, and like if I have some excess, I'll vacuum seal and freeze some pods to use later. Here this season I've just been making powders so far.
Hmm. Yeah, I do the same thing. I have like a multi-level dehydrator,
Yeah.
and I'll just throw them all in there. And as you know, going back to what you were saying before, it's good to have, you know, different flavors and different levels of heat, because what I'll do is I'll make mixes. You know, I'll make
Hmm.
mixes of the dehydrated peppers and turn them all into flakes,
Yeah.
and then I'll blend them up. You know, some, you know, be a little higher spice level with some other ones that might complement them a lot better, that
Yeah.
are, you know, maybe no spice whatsoever.
Yeah.
Um, and I've gotten really into pickling the last couple of years. So I've been
Yeah.
doing a lot of pickling, and you know, the super hots are really actually super nice pickled. And then I usually, like, I'll get these big jars, and I'll fill them halfway with cucumbers as well.
Yeah.
So not only do I have you know, pickled peppers, but I also have super spicy pickles, which is delicious. It's like one of
Yeah.
my favorite things now. So
That
like
sounds good.
a lot of my harvest this year, I'll be pickling it because I've just gotten really into it. And they last for a really long time. They make really good gifts.
Yeah.
Um, they go super well in sandwiches, you know. So it's uh, it's pretty good. Um, can you do you want to show us a little bit maybe of what you have going on right now? I mean,
Yeah.
we'd
Sure.
be happy to see. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me switch the camera here.
Hmm.
Okay. Um. So these are the ones in the 4x2 tray with the easy to go valve.
Hmm.
It's over there. I've kind of got it covered to block algae. It looks
Right.
kind of
Right.
janky, but
Hmm.
there's a reservoir. Um, these are getting a little bit light blocked. Like this, these are both supposed to be red Scotch bonnets, but one of them is crossed. Was the seat, had crossed two necks, so it's been attacked by hornworms and it's getting light blocked by some of these plants. But it's got some pods. But the one next to it is growing out true, and it's um, sorry, but it's
Oh
got
yeah, it's
uh,
nice. Really nice.
and let's see, yeah, some really nice size Scotch bonnets.
Those are beautiful. Yeah, those are big. I
Yeah,
mean, compared to your hand, those are a good size.
yeah, these are a chili chump strain. He sent those to me this year,
Oh, dude.
and
Yeah.
yeah, they're really good. And the other one, this is the one where I talked about. I just kind of reconfigured the connect these three to this one
Mm-hmm.
reservoir.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And this is another one of those plants that was crossed, but it's actually gotten pretty tall. And partly there's a little bit of stretching because like the sun kind of comes up over this way,
Sure.
but then these trees kind of block a lot of the light.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it's still got quite a few pods.
Oh yeah.
These are, even though it's crossed, I think it's crossed with a bacatum just based on how it tastes, but they're actually really good. So I'll probably grow it again next year just to see what happens. But it's pretty cool. And then this is a ring of fire. It's
Appropriately
like a
named.
cayenne type pepper, and these
Yeah.
are really good too. And then this is a Helios habanero. This one's really getting light blocked, but I've got quite a few pods.
Oh, it's
The
looking
Helios
good.
haban, and there's some on the other side of the railing, and there's one ripe one. I've been kind of picking these all along, so there's not a lot of ripe on here, but
Sure,
it's
sure, sure. You
how
don't
they look.
want to leave them on too long anyways, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It seems like when you pick the ripe ones, it kind of helps the other ones along too
Absolutely.
to ripen up.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And these are the little 5-gallon planter. This is
Mm-hmm.
Ahi de Belen.
Ooh, the ahis are nice. I grew those a couple of years ago, a bunch of them.
Yeah, it's got a lot. I need to go ahead and pick these. And this one and this one are annuums. It's called Cantina. It's like a kind of mild. They ripen yellow. I think I've got some ripe
Oh,
in
that's nice.
there.
Good
Yeah,
size too. Now, do
yeah
those
look,
have any heat on them?
not much. They're kind of like a mild to low medium to me. But they
Mm-hmm.
look like they'd be great for
Yeah.
stuffing. I might try doing that with
No, it
them.
looks like it.
And then the middle one is I just saved seeds from like some Aldi sweet peppers and see what, and I'm getting a bunch of these. They're pretty cool.
Those are good. Those are good. So,
This is
yeah.
sorry, go ahead.
No, no. I was gonna ask where you source your peppers from. Is there anywhere you buy seeds, or you kind of just collect them, through the years and
Um,
store them, or?
yeah, I've got like a whole tote full of seeds from over the years, but um, I think my favorite place is probably Semillas La Palma. They have like the best selection, and everything I've got from them has grown true, and the prices are really reasonable. But
No, no doubt.
I buy from other places too. But that's where I like the Cantina plant, and then this one here I got from them. It's
Mm-hmm.
Ahi Machero. It's a capsicum,
Oh,
but it's
wow, that thing is littered.
yeah.
Very nice.
And this is that chili chunk plant. That's the
Mm-hmm.
super hot I've got.
Oh, yep,
But it's
yep.
pretty loaded, and I've
And
got
what variety is that?
it's a cross jigsaw brain cross,
Oh, okay. Yep. Yeah, I heard you saying that. Yep.
and I got a tomato plant kind of mixed in here, and then what's it called?
Do you get spicier tomatoes as you grow them with your past? I'm just kidding. But do you do any of your own crosses? Do you try
I
to attempt to cross any of your peppers?
um I have let me switch the camera.
Mm,
Yeah, I have over the years done a few, but it's really difficult. I mean, the actual process isn't that hard, but it's hard to get the timing right between having one plant with unopened flower and
right.
another plant that's producing pollen. If you can get those timed right, then it's not so bad. But the actual process of doing the cross is too hard.
Yeah.
But
I was trying to make some Haba Reapers a few years back, and I wasn't very
yeah,
successful. So, yeah. Well, listen, you showed me mine. I'll show you your. You showed me
okay,
yours. I'll show you mine a little bit. And
okay,
it's interesting here. You ever heard of a Peter pepper plant?
yeah,
Yeah. So it's funny today's Peter, but I have one of them right here. So I don't know if you've tried these yet. These are the Trader Grow systems. They have a 25-gallon planter bag you can stick in them. You can use them
yeah,
for propagation as well as if you remove the bag. But I have a Peter plant here. The root system's been getting a little messed up because the wind's been really bad. So this one's taken a little bit of a beating for it. But I got the
yeah,
Peter peppers right here. I'll pick one off because they're funny. If anybody's ever seen these, they have a little bit of a Peterish look
yeah.
to them. Not you, Peter, different kind of Peter. But so I have that. Then I got some Reapers going right here,
Nice.
and these plants went in a little late this year, but they're starting to take off now. And I guess, and this too, the good thing about growing peppers is like, I'll grow them into the winter. They don't really die off, and they really start getting stressed, and they shoot a lot of peppers out late in the season.
Yeah.
So I'm always really happy about that. And it's like kind of my farewell to my summer grow. Some banana peppers back here. It's my other Trader Grow. I have 3 Trader Grows. I got my tank set
Wow.
up on my deck, and they really filled in. So this is like, I think I have another reaper here. I always remember because I have reapers to the right. I always tell myself that. Reapers to the right. It's on the right of the beds. This one's growing in as well, but no real pods yet, but it's going to produce pretty well because it looks pretty healthy. Leaves look good. And then I have this habanero here is just going crazy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Looks
it's
great.
just insane right now. This bed is a little full. It has a mammoth jalapeno plant in it, and then I have 2 shishitos. And
Oh,
shishitos
yeah, I
are
like
some of
those.
they're some of my favorite. They're so delicious. I cook these up at least once or twice a week with dinner, and like this little plant here will produce like plenty for me and my wife to eat, and have
Yeah.
shishitos a couple nights a week. So yeah, I live in New York City, so it's like nice to have I don't have too much room, and I can have my
Yeah.
little concrete garden. So it's worked out pretty well for me, man. I
Cool.
really enjoy it. And if you want to mess around with a Trader Grow next season, I'd be happy to hook you up.
Okay.
They're
Yeah.
great. And
That'd be
especially if you're
great.
going the organic route and feeding water only, these are nice because you have a lot more media you can use.
Yeah.
And it's easier to go organic. So I started the season, all these beds had the Build a Soil 3.0 in them. I'm not sure if you're familiar with them, but it's just like kind of like a bagged organic soil mix. And that lasted me some time, but then it's going to fade. And now I'm just feeding liquid nutrients through the system.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. So, yeah, man. Yeah. I love it. You're going to have to, we'll have to trade some pods. I might have some good seeds for you too, but I'd
Okay.
love to try those giant Scotch bonnets. I would
Sure.
love to grow those next year because Scotch, like you said before, Scotch bonnet's like my favorite pepper. Scotch bonnet
Yeah.
and habanero, they're so nice. Yeah, man. So
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, I'd be
cool,
happy
dude.
to do that.
Cool.
Yep.
Well, I'll continue to follow your journey as it continues with everything that you're
Sure.
doing. And is there anything else that you wanted to touch on maybe before we go? Or?
Yeah, one thing I forgot to mention, I really, another thing I use from you, I really like is the cocoa mat system.
Yeah.
Like I'll start my peppers in the air gardens and then transfer them to like little tiny fabric bags. And I've got, I use one of the 4x2 trays and just
Mm-hmm.
set them on that. And then that's kind of like the intermediate grow between, from when I transplant them until I put them outside,
Mm-hmm.
and I have them under lights. So but it works really well. It's another thing I really like. I just pour some nutrients in the tray when it starts to get low, and that's all I have to do with
Yeah,
it. But I really like that.
I've done your setup there with the Easy to Go kit that you were using, the little
Hmm.
valve kit, and those things are great because they're just so versatile.
Yeah.
Like I've seen people use those in so many different applications and settings, and as long as you do it right, they work really well. Now the cocoa mat, I'll generally throw the cocoa mat in the tray with the valve kit early on.
Yeah.
While the plants are establishing their roots and maturing, and once they're like really taken off and have some good size to them, that's when I pull the cocoa mats out. But they're very good in propagation.
Yeah.
As well. And I really think that you'll dig the Trader Grow because it's very versatile as well. Like, as opposed to the 4x2 with the cocoa mat in it, the Trader Grow, it's just a slightly smaller footprint than the 4x2 as far as the growing space on it. But there's no need for the cocoa mat because there's a wicking mat that goes in the tray,
Okay.
and that draws the water up to where the root control sheet is. So nothing will sit in the water naturally there, so we don't need as much of a wicking substrate to set things on.
Yeah.
But you'll mess around with it. I mean, we'll be happy to give you one. You can mess around
Okay.
with it. I mean, really early on you can, because I don't know. Do you get started, early spring inside before you go outside?
Yeah, I usually start with seeds like very end of January, early February, in that range, and that seemed to work. I could probably go a little later, maybe middle of February, and still be fine. But
Yeah.
that's usually when I start.
Yeah.
At least you
Yeah.
start germinate.
I'll do that, and then just to cover my ass, I always pre-order some live pepper plants from like a couple companies. I like Pepper Joe's. I don't know if you ever use them.
Yeah, I've had some of their
Yeah,
seeds.
yeah, they're good. Just because, like, again, I'm just covering my ass a lot of the time. Like, if things don't go well with a couple of the varieties I have,
Yeah,
because I used to try to like, my goal was like 20 plants in my backyard, and something always happens. This year, I was I'll tell you this real quick. So it's like the thing you always like are worried about. Like, I was carrying a tray of like of rooted seedlings. Like they were like a couple inches tall, and or maybe a little bit larger than that. And I was hardening them off. I started like bringing them outside for a few hours every day so they can get some exposure to the direct sun. And I'm holding my tray, and I guess I wasn't looking down, and I tripped, and all of my plants hit the ground.
wow.
So that, dude, they're all like fell out of their little containers and stuff. So I'm sitting there very delicately trying to put them back in, and maybe 30% of them caught back and were able to grow. But I had already pre-ordered some live plants. So I had them come in and they
Yeah,
filled in the gaps. So,
cool.
but man, I was so mad at myself when I did that. My wife is like just laughing at me. She's like, "Oh my God." So, but awesome, man. Listen, thank you so much. I'm gonna reach out to you via email. I want some of them Scotch bonnets, and
Okay.
we could do a little trade. I
All
got
right.
some
Sounds
some,
good.
some cool exotic ones for you to try also.
Cool.
All right,
Awesome. Sounds
great,
great.
man. Well,
Thank you for
Peter,
having
thank
me.
you. Yeah, listen, everybody watching, follow Peter on YouTube. He's got a great following, and he does some cool things on there. So we appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Cool. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Bye.